Hi guys, welcome to this video on how to set up your 2D design media to match the laser cutter. There's actually a couple of ways you can do this, but it's quite a common problem with students who are working on design files, particularly in the Key Stage 3 years, that they don't realise how big this area, the white area that you're drawing on, actually is in real life. So they'll draw something on here that fills the page, and then they come to print it off and find that it's actually like a metre across, or much bigger than they expect. Now, for you guys who are slightly older, obviously that's important because you'll be sending files through onto the laser cutter, so you need to make sure that they are scaled in the way that you want them for your final product, particularly if you're doing your NEA. So what I'm going to show you now is just how to set up this backdrop so that it actually matches the laser cutter. So you could do things at home on this, and then when you get into school just send them to the laser cutter very quickly rather than having to refresh it and scale things differently. The easiest way when you've got your file open is if you go to Setup, Drawing, Layout. You've basically got in here a standard size. So this is currently, the background here is currently A3 paper, 420 by 297 millimeters. Okay, you can go to these other settings, so you can see, look, match current printer. It will basically find the one that I've got here connected to my PC, which is A4, so it does my 210 by 297. Or you can go to user defined. Now, user defined is quite handy because what I can now do is tell it that I want it to match the laser cutter, or actually match the material that goes in the laser cutter, more importantly. So we buy in our sheets of material 600 by 400. Okay, so if I were to change both those numbers, 600 to 400 there, and click OK, I've now got a page in front of me that's exactly the same size as the laser cutting MDF sheets that we buy in school. So if I were to draw things using gridlock on here nice and accurately and work within those particular parameters, then basically I know it will fit on a piece of our school MDF. Okay, that's nice and easy. There is another way, a slightly more complex way, which I am going to show you, but this one I think is probably good enough for you guys working at home, and when you save your file it will save the size of that sheet in the background and mean that you can go straight into school and laser cut, or email it to laser@marywebschool.com so we can get it laser cut for you for when you return to your next lesson. Okay, so for those of you who are happy with this method, you can stop the video here. For others who want to see how to actually set up the driver, we can show you that now. Okay, so moving on, I'm just going to open Google. I've done a quick Google search. What we have in school is a Mercury 3 laser cutter in W1. Okay, and that is the driver. So this I'm looking at now. I did a quick Google search before, so technology supplies came up, but you'll see basically flame fast Mercury 3 driver with a little typo, and I've got that flame fast company that manufacture it, but I couldn't find a link to the driver there, so I've gone to this one at TSL. So I'm going to download the driver. I've already got WinRAR installed on my computer, so when it comes down as a compressed file I can open it. Okay, and there it is, the executable file, 32-bit. Now, before I install this, I would say to you guys, obviously check with whoever's at home. They're happy for you to install an extra driver. If you're borrowing mum or dad's laptop, they may not want that, so just check with them and show them the site so they know that it's from a legit source. Okay, but I'm going to double click, it'll extract the file for me, and then I'm just going to install it. Okay, and you'll see, very straightforward. But what this means is that when it's installed, I can then go to that option where I could match my file to the printer, select the laser cutter as the printer, and then it will change the background so that it actually is the full size. So what machine? Mercury 3, click OK, and we should be there. Okay, so having installed the driver, what I can do is now I need to set that as my default device. So I'm going into settings, that start menu there, into the settings section, devices, and if I go here to printers and scanners, you'll see now I've got an option for a Mercury 3 just there. So I'm going to manage that. I'm going to set it as my default device. and then I can close that window down. I can change that back later, it's really easy to do, but if I now go to drawing layout, what I should find when I get in there is that I've now got the driver for the Mercury 3. So there we go, match current printer, Mercury 3, and you can see the actual maximum size of the bed on that particular Lasercutter is 635 by 458. Click OK, and I can just check it by drawing a line quickly. Okay, roughly speaking, from the top left to the top right, I can see is reading the distance down here just over 630, and likewise if I go down this side, 460. So that's a nice simple way of making sure that it is actually matching the Mercury Lasercutter. Okay, as I say, the other way, go in there and just, when you've got your setup open, basically we go to the user defined and you can set it there to 600 by 400. Okay, I hope that helps and gets you set up. Don't forget though, last thing before you leave the computer, to save anybody any bother when they come over. They won't know when they start using the computer after you that you've changed the drivers around. So go in there, printers and scanners, go to the Mercury 3, okay, and that one is obviously now the default, so I'm going to go back to, in my case, the printer that was default before and just set that back as the default, so my computer's back with its ordinary settings. Okay, watch out for the other videos.